It is a dark and rainy night. The tanks of the 1st Company are assembling to attack the enemy in front of them. Battalion Command hopes that by concentrating our forces, we will be able to punch through the enemy's defense in front of us. The responsibility for this attack has been given to the commander of the 1st Company. Some would call him enthusiastic. I'd rather describe him as a self-important muppet that's going to get us all killed. He still seems to think that we are on a parade and not at war. He has positioned all the tanks forward and lets them sweep ahead with their infrared searchlights. Even with the reduced visibility, the enemy has to realize that something is up. To increase the likelihood that this attack will succeed, the 1st Company is being reinforced by units from the other companies. 2nd Company is sending 2 platoons of BMPs. The 3rd Company is sending us, its 3rd tank platoon. Hello there, and welcome to a new episode of GHPC, where today we are once again gonna drive the T-62 Soviet main battle tank. We have seen this tank before on the channel, so I'm not gonna go into the technical details. Let's just say that this tank, developed as a stopgap measure in between the T-55 and the T-64, actually turned out to be a very decent tank, and therefore the Soviets made huge numbers of these things and exported them all over the Soviet-aligned world. Really huge numbers of these tanks. And you still can see them all over the world today, in third world countries especially. And, well, in Russia, on the Ukrainian front lines. In use by Russia, which is unbelievable. There's a jet screaming by. Okay. So, before we start today's mission, I want to have another look up there, because there's another jet screaming by that looks like an F4, so that's not friendly. Well, that's ominous. Right, before we start today's mission proper, I have a request to make, and at the same time, an announcement. I want you to pay very close attention to the T-62 today, to how I'm able to use the tank, to its systems, basically to how it is implemented here in GHPC. Because next week you are going to see the T-62 again, but then in a very different context. Some of you might suspect what's going on and will now be very happy. Everybody else will be very confused, but trust me, next week you'll see something amazing that is potentially gonna blow your mind. Oh man, I'm such a tease. I really am. If you do suspect what will be happening next week, write it into the comments, but yeah, actually do write it into the comments. Write it into the comments if you suspect it. So, with that all said, let's go ahead with today's mission. A radio message from our company CEO. Hurry up and get down to the rally point. You 3rd Company men have no work ethic. He seems a bit pompous. Let's start heading out. As you can tell, it is quite dark. The bad weather is making it darker even still. So without night vision, very dark indeed. Our tanks do of course have night vision. And we also have these powerful infrared searchlights that can only be seen with night vision. Without night vision, this beam of light is invisible. The enemy though, if he has night vision, he can see this beam of light as well. So I'm gonna keep this turned off unless I really need it. If we go into the gun sight, we see that we have our standard sight here, which is almost useless in these conditions. But it does have 2 zoom levels, and we can actually range with this thing. Something that we cannot do with the night vision sight. The night vision sight has a fixed magnification, and we can't range with it. The mission today is quite nice actually. we are to advance down here to the company rally point, where we will link up with the rest of our company. Look, there we have 2 more tank platoons and a platoon of BMPs standing by. Together with them, we will then attack objective Boris up here. And we are almost there. We are almost at the rally point. Let's hurry up a little bit before our CO starts to complain about us again. About us not having any work ethic. That's a weird guy. Okay. And by the way, don't worry. Yes, it is a little bit dark right now, but I'm quite sure that it won't stay dark for too long. Are we there yet? Yeah, we're almost there. Okay. Our 2 second company BMP platoons should arrive in 25 minutes to help with this attack. Oh, do I really have to wait 25 minutes now? I hope not. I really do hope not. But you know, might as well use the time to restock a little bit of ammunition here. What was that? An artillery shell landing in front of us there. Don't worry about the inaccurate artillery. See how they miss, our company's CO boasts over the radio. That did sound a bit closer. What's going on? I have a bad feeling about this. What's happening? I do have a bad feeling about this. Ooh, that was closer. Oh, okay, they ranged us. That's smoke. They are attacking us. Move out and start our attack. Okay. Let's start moving. Looks like the enemy is attacking and we are attacking their attack. Fan out in a line. Enemy. Where? I don't see... There's something. Light on. There. Fire. Light off. I think I hit something. I think I hit something. Come on, guys. Advance, advance. Gun reloaded. Scanning for targets. Don't see anything. Light off. Oh, this is gonna be a very chaotic mission, isn't it? Typical. Missions at night tend to be quite chaotic. Turn off the light again. Just sporadically using it to scan ahead of us. As we try to keep up with our friendly tanks on our left there. I cannot reach battalion fire support officer. That's bad, I guess. I need you to call in the artillery fire missions. Okay, so I guess I'm in charge of the artillery now. Let's scan the ridgeline ahead of us. There! Fire! I think it's already dead. It's on fire now. Turn off the light. So I'm in charge of artillery. Guess I better start raining down some of it on objective Boris there. And let's see that we try to keep up with our friendly tanks that are advancing on our left here. Let's also use the opportunity to restock a few rounds. Get more rounds into the ready rack. I'm sure I'll need those. Let's go. Okay, trying to keep pace with the friendly tanks on the left. Okay, I hear my artillery hitting the enemy position. We're approaching the ridgeline. Let me call illumination flares on objective Boris. And let me call a smoke screen just ahead of it. To confuse the defenders and to blind some of them. It's good that we have illumination flares on standby. They are gonna make things easier. There. Okay, let's turn off night vision. There's something. Enemy tank, there! Fire! Advance. Enemy tank. 12 o'clock. Enemy something. Oh no, 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 no. How am I alive? How am I alive? That wasn't... Yeah, machine gun. Enemy targets. Tank. Keep going. Take your platoon and help our BMP platoon clear the town. Okay, so we are advancing. That tank is surely dead. Let's make sure. Keep going. Enemy tank. Enemy APC. Come on. It's loaded. There it is. Hit it. More enemy APCs. Enemy tank somewhere. Where? There. See it. Hit it. Well, the message does say we have taken the objective, but I don't trust that. Let's keep going. Yeah, there's more. Enemy APC. It's on fire. Hold fire. This enemy tank here, let's take it out. Make sure that it's dead. I'm almost out of ammunition on the AP rounds. But that's fine, I do have heat rounds that I can load. The T-62, by the way, is doing this thing where in order to reload a round, we have to raise up the barrel, which is not ideal. We can't really follow the fall of shot. Oh, yeah, these flares, they produce such an eerie atmosphere, don't they? Let's use our machine gun. I don't know if there's enemy infantry, so let's suppress a little bit proactively. Turn on our searchlight. Okay, turn it off again. Don't need night vision right now. Platoon formation, echelon left. I'll circle the village. Make sure that there's nothing left that can threaten us. Oh boy, this mission was chaotic. This mission was really, really chaotic. Enemy tanks on fire. No infantry making itself known. So I think we're good. I think we're actually good. As the flare burns out. Do I call in more? Yeah. Let's call in more flares just over the village here. Keep circling. Looks like we got it. There's nothing left. There are more flares. Awesome. Oh, what? Let's take a nice look at this from a third-person perspective. Isn't this looking amazing? This certainly is looking amazing. Tanks on the move. Very nice. with the fires burning in the background. Damn, it's so dark without the flares. It's so dark. With flares, it's alright. Here are, by the way, our BMPs that advanced together with us. That's good to see. This thing, I do like the T-62, by the way. I mean, it can be really difficult to use because of its antiquated systems, because of its lack of laser rangefinder mainly. But when this gun hits, it does a lot of damage, and that's just really good about it. Against these M60s in particular, they can't do much. They really can't do much. Awesome tank. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the shots that were fired in this mission. So, personnel lost. NATO, they lost 18, lost 12 pieces of equipment, fired 13 shots. Pact forces lost 1 guy and fired 221 shots. Wow. Amazing. Let's go through these. I'll exclude the small caliber shots because I don't think there weren't any, apart from me trying to suppress potential infantry in the village. And you know what? Since night missions are always kinda confusing, let me actually go ahead to this vision here, just initially, so that we get our bearings here, see what's going on. So this is where the mission starts. Over here we have our assembly point. There on the right side is my platoon. We are currently just assembling. 2 more tank platoons are moving out. Okay, and it looks like 2 pairs of enemy tanks advanced up on the ridge line in front of us, M60s. Now let's have a look. Looks like I fired the first shot at a tank appearing on the ridge line. I hit at a kilometer away. Good hit, actually. I penetrate the turret ring, apparently. Yeah, that looks like I hit basically the turret ring. Really lucky there. The shot penetrates, goes through the gunner's legs, goes through the loader's legs, goes back there into the engine. I don't think... Wait, no, yeah, we did penetrate propellant casing somewhere along the way. I guess up there, in the storage rack behind the loader. So I think that this tank then caught on fire. Nice. Next shot. Ooh, okay. One of the M60s on the ridgeline takes a shot at one of the advancing T-62s at... where is it? There it is. At just 950 meters. The shell penetrates through the infrared searchlight and then goes on to penetrate the turret roof and obliterates the poor loader. His brains are gone. Absolutely gone, and not just his brains, the torso is taking quite a lot of damage as well. The tank itself is extremely lucky. Some fragments do hit that shell back there, but the propellant casing is not penetrated, and so the tank isn't immediately on fire. Very, very lucky. Very lucky indeed for the rest of the crew. But the loader is certainly dead. So that's the one guy that we lost, I guess. Somebody else fires at one of these M60s, hits the commander's cupola. The round just passes through. Doesn't really do anything. Probably disables the commander's machine gun, but that's about it. Another shot at one of the T-62s. Hits the track. Not sure if the vehicle is detracked because of this shot or not. Let's have a quick look. Just to see here where this is taking place. Okay, so this is the platoon on our left flank being hit by the enemies up there. Okay. It's detract. Maybe, maybe not. Not sure. Another T-62 receives a hit to the turret, but it's at an extremely bad angle and doesn't penetrate. I fire again at somebody. Wait, I gotta see at whom I fired. Looks like I fire at one of the tanks on the ridgeline. Okay, looks like that tank is retreating off the ridgeline. This one is still up there. I think it's already disabled at this point because I can't see a driver. So I think that guy already bailed out together with the commander. Yeah, the hatch is open. So it looks like this tank is already defeated, but I put in another shell just to be sure. This shell penetrates and, well, the loader is already dead, but looks like I really make sure. I do also penetrate propellant casing, so there's a chance that a fire is started here. Now it's almost 2 minutes later, and I think we are now starting the attack on the enemy position. Yeah, we are. Let's once again reorient ourselves here. So what's happening? We have the enemy held village here. Looks like there's something in the tree line here to the right. Isn't this where they had the damn... Yeah. The tow launcher. Nasty thing. Okay, the enemy held village. Something on the side here. I'm sure we'll take a look at that in a moment. Looks like we have an M60 retreating off the ridge line there. And another one over here. So 2 tanks retreating. And our tanks, our tank company, we are in the process of cresting this low rise here. Looks like indeed one of the tanks has stayed behind, so that tank that received a hit to its tracks was indeed immobilized. We do have one platoon of BMPs following behind. So that's the initial situation for the attack on the village. And it looks like I'm the one to open it up. We crest the hill here, I spot an enemy tank and I fire. At 994 meters, my shell penetrates the front of this M60 and just goes basically straight through all the way into the engine back there. Propellant casing is hit and also penetrated somewhere, probably in that storage rack on the left side there, right side of the driver. And so there's a good chance that this tank is now on fire. Unknown, okay. The artillery that I called in actually does something. An high explosive shell screams in and lands just behind this APC. I'm not sure if that APC is taken out by this impact or not. Let's continue. One of my tanks, I think this is my tank platoon engaging here, isn't it? Yeah, that here on this side is my tank platoon. Okay, so one of my tanks engages this tank that I just fired at. He only hits the commander's cupola though. Oh my god. I did get hit. No. I survived. It was the tow missile that I saw coming and I thought it had missed me. How are we alive? So this guy fired a tow missile. 800 meters. The tow missile screamed in towards my tank. I saw it coming, and then it did impact the front of my tank as I was starting to reverse away from it and as I fired a shot back at it. The warhead detonated. The lower front plate was penetrated. The glacis plate was penetrated. And the devastating energy of the tow missile was actually stopped by my fuel tank there. You can see that the copper jet penetrated a little bit and then got actually stopped by the fuel tank. My god. I am so lucky. So lucky that my tank was not immediately destroyed by this. Looks like it really hit just where the glacis plate and the lower front plate are overlapping. And that saved me. Because a tow missile usually has no problem penetrating through the armor of a T-62. I'm so lucky. Let's continue. I fire back. Yes, I do. I do actually fire back. I fire a little bit short with an AP shell. I guess somebody else... I saw somebody else take shots at this thing, so... I don't think that I killed it, but somebody else did. We see here an M60 in front of the village. The village is over there, so this is the one that was retreating away from the ridgeline. He gets hit by one of my tanks, I think. I'm not sure. No, it's not one of my tanks, it's from the other side of the road. The shell hits, penetrates basically straight through the gunner's side, through his periscope. The gunner is killed, the commander is killed, and the round exits out the rear of the turret. Is propellant casing hit, or a warhead or something like that? No. But I don't think that the rest of the crew will remain inside of the tank. I think this is the point where driver and loader bail out. Okay. Another very dangerous foe right here. It's an M113 with a tow missile launch system on it. This making it an M901 ITV. Very dangerous. It gets hit here by an AP shell, but that AP shell just hits the launcher assembly up there. I don't think that this vehicle is disabled. Somebody does go ahead and finishes the job though. A heat shell hits this thing, and looks like the gunner is killed. Yeah. Fragments go straight through his head. Very good, because this thing is extremely dangerous. A T-62 fires a high explosive shell into an M113 sitting in the trees here. I don't think that this is enough to destroy the vehicle. The track is certainly gone though. I spot this tank down here that, yeah, it's already abandoned. The loader and the driver have indeed vacated the tank. I do fire a shell at it though. I do not penetrate. It's a bad angle. Somebody else fires a heat shell at an enemy tank that seems to be retreating on the other side of the village, on our left flank. The heat shell is poorly aimed, just nicks the tank basically. No penetration here. Wow, and somebody else once again follows up with this M901 ITV that seems to be maneuvering. I think the driver is trying to turn it around and run away. The heat shell smashes through the side and hits all those missiles, so this thing should be on fire. I fired something. At what did I fire? Yes, I think I tried to fire at that M60 again, but I don't aim well enough and the shell passes beneath it. Somebody re-engages the M60 tank fleeing on the left side. There's a nice hit into the road wheels, but I don't think that it's enough to immobilize the tank. This is better. An AP shell to the engine. And, well, some of it goes into the engine, but most of it penetrates into the crew compartment. Looks like the loader is killed, and looks like propellant casing is hit and penetrated. So this tank is now possibly on fire. Another shell hitting the gun barrel. And I fired something, but I miss. What do I fire at? I fire at that M60 that is running away, but I miss a little bit. Oh, okay. A T-62 is hit. By whom? There's an M60 sitting in between the buildings. Oh, that's a good position. He takes aim and fires. Let me have a quick look, by the way, just so that we are on the same page what's going on. Okay, looks like 2 platoons of T-62s are standing by on the ridgeline, covering our advance. This is us advancing, and the advance of the BMPs. So they are staying up there, providing cover fire while we advance. That tank is done. That thing is done. The tow launcher somewhere down there is done. Not sure about anything else though. I think this is the retreating M60, that's done. Here we have the tow launcher, that's done. And looks like we have a few more APCs and this thing looks done. Okay, so basically at this point, this M60 in between the houses is the last real threat remaining. Let's have a look. He fires, and this, wow, this T-62 gets very, very lucky. The shell hits the fume extractor on the gun barrel, penetrates the mantlet, does get very much weakened by these impacts, and then continues on and hits the gun breech. I'm not sure. It's possible that the main gun was disabled by this shot, but had the M60 aimed just a little bit lower, this would have been a kill. Okay, somebody spots an APC and puts a round straight through the poor gunner there. I follow up and put a round straight through the driver too, making sure that this thing is dead. The M60 in between the buildings is taking another shot and once again hits the gun barrel. He's consistent with his aiming, but as I said, had he aimed a little bit left, right, up or down, this would have been a kill. A heat shell is fired at this APC in the trees here on the right side, so maybe it was alive. Well, now it isn't. An artillery shell lands next to one of the BMPs. I hope it's not killed by that. And somebody gets eyes on that M60 in between the buildings. Or maybe it's the same tank just returning fire. The shell is good, flies through, scores a good hit, goes into all that ammunition down there. So this tank is done. We have 2 more shells being fired. Here's a shell fired by me at this already disabled M60 sitting back here. The round does penetrate through and hits a whole bunch of ammunition, so this thing must be on fire now. And somebody fires at another APC sitting in between the buildings. A heat shell obliterates the driver. And to finish it all up, I once again fire at this M60 sitting outside of the village as I'm passing it. I fire a bit low though, so it's not a good hit. That was today's mission. This has been chaotic, this has been exciting, and I really enjoyed playing it. I really do hope that you enjoyed watching it, and that you are looking forward to next week's special episode. Let me know in the comments what you think of today's mission, and don't forget, let me know in the comments if you suspect what I'm about to do next week. Some of you had requested it. That's all really, that's the hint that I'm gonna give you. So, with that all said, once again, thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you again next time. Until then, have some amazing days and goodbye.